How's it going, kids? Here's another one for you. I've got several. I've got 6 tabs open today, and I'm going to start with 3 of them, keep the other 3 for another video. But I wanted to discuss what it actually feels like when you're going through the process of healing from anything, okay? When your nervous system is healed, you no longer are afraid of the silence, okay? All trauma victims of all types, physical, mental, emotional, okay? They find themselves keeping themselves busy, like we discussed in other videos. It's a type of anxiety where you have to have external stimuli, keeping yourself busy to prevent thoughts from coming to the surface, okay? People like that as soon as they get in the car, they turn the fucking stereo up so it's loud enough you can't even hear your voice. And they start driving. It's a distraction so they don't get stuck in their head, okay? When I drive, it's absolute fucking silence. When I'm taking grandma to the doctors, I got one more week of doctor appointments, by the way. She's got her headphones on. I'm driving silently, okay? I was driving cross country silent with no music. I want to say close to 8 years, something like that. It's close to 10 years, okay? So I noticed this when I finally stopped traveling. I came to Wichita Falls, started taking care of mom, and my grandparents started passing away, and all, life stuff started happening. I kind of anchored myself into a house, okay? And I was cool with it. I have no angst or anxiety about it, okay? Now, people that have gone through significant traumas, whether it be civilian life or military life, or combined, will keep themselves occupied with stimuli at all times, okay? The great majority of my day is silent, okay? I will read silently, or I will have one of my classes playing on headphones with open ear headphones, okay? Open ear. It just sits on the outside of your ear, okay? That way, I think I just glitched the video playing with this. Basically, go inside, come on, inside. Damn. Okay, so the open ear headphones allows me to have awareness of my surroundings while not keeping myself occupied, but to continue my education, okay? I'm multitasking. That's one of the things that have not been able to kick yet, is multitasking. I think it's more of a cognitive organization that I physically manifest in my day-to-day. So that may not be a quirk or mental health concern. I'm not trying to keep myself busy. It's just a way I think of keep things on track. And if I can multitask while I'm doing something like in the backyard with the dogs and having my class play, or setting one of my books, I'll highlight a section and put it through a voice generator, it'll read it for me. That's not keeping myself occupied, that's multitasking, okay? It would be keeping myself occupied if I was sitting here listening to fucking heavy metal all day, ignoring everyone, my responsibilities, fucking everything, okay? That's keeping myself preoccupied. Okay, that's avoiding the subject, avoiding responsibility, accountability. Okay. When your nervous system is healed, you no longer are afraid of silence. No matter what you do in the day, you can be at work, at home, sitting in your bedroom, or sitting in the truck. If you're constantly grabbing for something or turning something on, to have that constantly around you, you need to work on yourself. Okay? So what I would like to encourage my kids and anybody else listening is, if you're going to keep yourself occupied, go to YouTube, look up meditation music, sleep music. You're looking for binaural beats and isochronic tones. Okay? These types of meditation frequencies will get your brain into that type of frequency, so that way when it's off during your day, you feel more comfortable with the silence. It works, okay? You can't just listen to it once. You need to listen to it every fucking day, repeatedly, until you start being comforted by that meditation music, okay? This is a way to rewire and reprogram your mind. This is something I discussed with Allie and tried to emphasize with Noah, different ways of thinking of moving forward. Okay? You can fight the urge to keep yourself busy by preoccupying yourself with something healthy, forcing yourself doing something healthy, like a time-appropriate sleep meditation music. It's usually a deep tone, and it's usually a solid tone, and the background music is what fluctuates peacefully. Okay? Gives you that kind of sleepy, drowsy, almost boring. That's what you want. Okay? So that way, that boredom puts you to sleep, and in reality, those tones that are going in both ears are different tones, and your brain thinks it's one. Okay? It's a type of way to force your brain into a new brain frequency. You can look up those later. I can do another class on that later. But the brain frequencies that you want are theta and delta to ease the mind. Okay? Once you start doing this to yourself, you'll start noticing that you could start searching for or reaching for music that has no words. It could be your favorite music of all time, your favorite song, but cut out the words completely. And you'll notice that it will induce a different feeling. Without those words, that music is completely different. Okay? Let me read a little bit of this so you can get a gist of what I'm talking about here, okay? Zoom this in for the old man eyes. Okay, now what I'm about to read here is a hippocampal neurogenesis silence research. Okay, it's kind of a mouthful. Okay, the statement that you are no longer afraid of silence when your nervous system is healed reflects a shift from survival mode to rest and digest regulation. Research indicates that silence is not merely an absence of noise, but an active restorative force that lowers cortisol, reduces amyloid. I still can't pronounce that word. I'll have to have Google pronounce it for me later. Part of your brain reactivity, and stimulates hippocampal neurogenesis. Okay? What this means is the hippocampal neurogenesis is the rewiring, reprogramming of the brain. Okay? Signs of this healing include reduced anxiety, the ability to sit with silence without feeling compelled to fill it with noise or distractions, indicating a lower baseline of hypervigilance. Okay? Now, before I continue on that, Hypervigilance is when you're constantly looking over your shoulder. It can look like paranoia, but from my experience, hypervigilance is constantly being aware of everything around me, okay? Because I practice my daily life in silence, my ears and my eyes and my senses, my nose, my taste, my sense of touch is very, very sensitive, okay? Plus my time out as a cowboy with natural environment around me, no traffic, no train, no nothing. Maybe the tractor every once in a while, okay? But not heavy traffic and noise and people at all times. Okay. This is what happens to dogs when they're out there. Their senses just fucking explode. And this is something I help my dogs with here at home. I hook my mom up with headphones. I use headphones. And the dogs are allowed to have their natural super hearing and super abilities without them being suppressed by a human saying, shut the fuck up. Do this, do that. Go over there. Be quiet. Go lay down, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Restricting your dog like that is abusive, by the way. My dogs are herd dogs. They can hear you and sense you across the fucking street when they're at the back fence line. They will run through the fucking garage, into the fucking house, go to the fucking front window, because I got a big picturesque window they can walk up to. They'll hear kids all the way down at the end of that street. They're that sensitive, okay? And you can do the same thing to your own body by reducing the external stimuli and allowing your natural superhuman abilities to come forward. It's like literal, okay? So kids, when you're going to the gym, you are literally working the physical muscles to give you that super fucking strength, okay? You can do the same thing with your senses by removing the stimuli that's bombarding it all day. Once your senses get a new baseline, they'll be even more sensitive. They will, okay? The hypervigilance is just that, being very aware and hypersensitive to your environment. So to the point where you can tell just a tiny bit of a sound, you'll know what it is. Okay. Next one here is increased tolerance. Learning that stillness is safe allows the nervous system to trust quiet environments, transforming silence from a source of dread into a tool for mental clarity and emotional stability. Physiological reset. Consistent exposure to quiet shifts the autonomic nervous system towards parasympathetic dominance, lowering heart rate and blood pressure, which reinforces the brain's association of silence with safety rather than threat. Okay? When your nervous system is healed, silence shifts from a trigger for hypervigilance to a signal to safety. This transformation is rooted in the physiological transformation from sympathetic activation, fight or flight, to parasympathetic dominance, rest and digest. The psychological silence, trying to go too fast. The physiology of silence and safety. Okay. In a dysregulated state, the brain interprets silence as potential threat, a lack of sensory data that could hinder or hide danger. This triggers the amygdala, whatever, to remain in high alert, keeping cortisol and adrenaline elevated. Healing involves neuroception, the subconscious process prescribed in polyvagal theory, where the nervous system learns to identify silence as a cue of safety rather than a void. Hormonal reset. Research indicates that 2 minutes of silence can lower cortisol levels more effectively than relaxing music. In a healed state, the absence of sound allows the HPA axis, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, it's a gland, to fully disengage from stress production, normalizing blood pressure and heart rate. Okay. Brain regulation. Silence is an active biological stimulus. Studies show that periods of quiet trigger hippocampal neurogenesis. Fucking big ass words. The growth of new neurons in the hippocampus, the region responsible for memory and emotional regulation. This structural change enhances the brain's capability to buffer stress and process emotions without becoming overwhelmed. Auditory recalibration. A healed nervous system no longer relies on consistent noise to feel grounded. Instead, it develops a higher tolerance for stillness, allowing the default mode network to integrate experiences and restore cognitive resources. Why trauma survivors fear silence. For those with unresolved trauma, silence often removes the distractions that keep painful memories at bay, like I just said. Okay. Without the noise to fill the void, the nervous system may revert to survival mode, interpreting the quiet as a precursor to danger or emotional flooding. Okay, losing control of your emotions. Okay. Loss of control. Noise can serve as a protective shield against intrusive thoughts. Silence removes this barrier, forcing a confrontation with internal states that feel unsafe or unimaginable. Neuroceptive error. In a traumatized state, the nervous system misinterprets the absence of external sound as a lack of environmental control, triggering a dorsal vagal shutdown or a sympathetic spike in anxiety. Healing the fear. Recovery involves gradual exposure to silence in safe contents, teaching the brain that stillness equals restoration, not threat. Over time, typically 6 to 8 weeks of consistent practice, the baseline shifts and the silence becomes a source of clarity and peace rather than dread. That's it for that one. Okay, so basically, you need to find some personal space, practice this silence, and to work your way into silence, use the meditation music, because there's more silence in that than you think. It may be a solid tone, main tone, and a soft fluctuating tone in the background. But you can still hear more of your environment around you, especially when you do something open ear. Okay, this is the first model of On brand from Walmart, ONN. There's new ones that just literally sit right here and go wrap around. And there's also the JLab brand that does the same thing. I gotta go get those from Walmart. These are both the first models of their headphones. My nice expensive ones broke. Anyway, once you get this routine of like bedtime, putting on the sleep type of meditation music as your practice into silence, you're easing way into silence. Your morning and your day will be easier, more level. Okay. And once you get to the point where you can drive without music, you know you're on your way to just being carefree and not giving a fuck no more about anything that's happened. Okay, you're letting go. Now a quick one here. Courage. Okay, courage. Courage, also called bravery, valor, or valor, is the mental or moral strength to venture, perceive, and withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. It is defined as the ability to control fear in dangerous or difficult situations, and the willingness to confront agony, pain, uncertainty, and intimidation. Crucially, courage does not imply the absence of fear, rather it involves facing frightening situations despite the fear. Okay? Physical courage. This form involves bravery in the face of physical pain, hardship, death, or the threat of death. It is often associated with first responders, such as firefighters, paramedics, and military personnel, who must put themselves in positions of risk to save lives and protect communities. Moral courage. Moral courage is the ability to act rightly in the face of popular opposition, shame, scandal, discouragement, or personal loss. It involves standing up for one's beliefs and supporting unpopular causes, even when facing social condemnation or emotional deprivation. Okay? So, with courage, you got to have the courage here and here. Everything that I talk about when it comes to psychology and mental health, wellness, and healing starts with yourself. Just like I've been saying in all the other videos. The little pamphlet in the seat in front of you on the plane. You open that sucker up, and it literally shows you must put the mask on first before you help somebody else. So you must take the time for yourself and be a little selfish and heal yourself to the point where if somebody has a woe is me fucking dramatized fucking issue, you're just going to look at them and evaluate the situation. Ask them detailing questions to understand further. And you'll be easily working them through the steps themselves without thinking you need to take charge and just fucking pick somebody up and go fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? Gotta have the courage to know that you gotta help yourself first before you help somebody else. And the courage to admit that yes, I gotta work on this, that, and the other before I can do this, that, and the other. That's the way it works. All right? So now 20 minutes here. This one's kind of a longer read, so I'm going to leave this for the next video. Okay? Let's see here. Yeah, we're just going to leave that one there for now, okay? Just want to put this out here for you to understand that you don't need to stay busy. Your moms don't need to be keeping you bombarded with fucking shit to do all day. My kids need to be at a point in their life where they're allowed to be a kid. Because keeping them bombarded with shit to do all fucking day every day is not healthy. Okay? My kids need time to be able to vegetate in front of the fucking Xbox and sit there and fucking do their thing for a few hours. That's decompression. That's why I made that decompression video for you guys. You guys need that. Okay? But then again, you also need that time for personal silence. Okay? So there's different levels of things for your mental health to do, and preoccupying yourself with something more healthy than mom saying we're going to this church event. That's not healthy. That's not helping. That's not benefiting you. Okay. Or constantly making up excuses for you to go do something, stay out of mom's hair kind of thing, keeping you occupied. You've got to have a time for yourself at some point. So, most especially for my two oldest, venturing out on your own. Don't forget to take time for yourself. Okay? Allie and Noah. Take time for yourself. Give yourself that silence. Even if it's just for an hour a day. Go for a walk, go sit in the car, fucking something. Just listen to nature. Watch the birds. Go for a walk in the woods. See if you can watch critters, something. Okay? That's something healthy to keep yourself occupied with. The natural sounds from nature, like I just said, are healing. Rain. Turn off the TV, the music, put down the phone. Open up the back door when it's raining. I sit out here in the garage, and I got back door to the backyard right out here, okay? That's how me and the dogs come through. And when it's raining, I put my lawn chair out there, right there at the back door. And I just sit there and listen. Usually it's dark. Prop my feet up, lean back, just listen to the rain. That shit's fucking really, really healing and relaxing. That's one of the best neurogenesis that you can do. Natural sounds. Or sitting next to the river, listening to water go by. Or at the beach, watching the waves come in. Those sounds are healing sounds for the body. Okay? So, I hope you get the gist of this and you understand what I'm saying. And I hope you can take the time to really give yourself that healing moment. Okay? So, you all have a good night. I'm going to process this and work on the next video. Later, folks.